What is going on, X Factor Nation? Welcome back to the Daily NBA Show. I am joined today by Troy. Troy, we had a lot of games to break into, so we're going to get right after it today. But before we begin, like always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell some friends. Let's get up to 150 subscribers before the start of the new year. The Charlotte Hornets lost at home to the Indiana Pacers, 125 to 113. LaMelo Ball went out with an apparent ankle injury. Don't know how serious it is. So for the Hornets, LaMelo Ball still played 36 minutes, had 26 points, 6 assists. So good to see him getting things back into it. 10 to 17 from the field. Terry Rozier, 17 points. Mason Plumlee, 12 and 10. PJ Washington, 24. Kelly Oubre with 17. Nobody else really stepped up. Troy, I'm going to ask you this. With LaMelo hurting his ankle yet again, do you think they should try to kind of just play it cool with him and let this thing blow up and we'll have our first official tanking team?
Yeah, 100%. I think that they should ease LaMelo back. It seemed like he stepped on a fan's ankle,
something like that,
going after like a loose ball. He kind of just got nicked up there. If it's a couple day injury, I give him about 2 to 3 weeks. If it's 2 to 3 week injury, I give him about a month, 2 months,
month and a half. Yeah,
maybe right before the All-Star break.
Yeah.
But yeah, seriously, the Hornets are terrible. They're really, really bad. Buy into a rebuild of some sort, blow it up, get as many picks as you can out of the assets that you have. And look ahead to next year.
Yeah. For the Pacers, Buddy Hield, 19 points. He shot 5 of 13, 3 of 5 from the three-point line, though, so he continues to have a really solid percentage. Miles Turner is really trying to put his name out there. He had 20 and 10, 7 of 10 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. Also contributed with 3 blocks. Andrew Nembhard had 13. Tyrese Halliburton had 22 and 11, and Benedict Mathurin off the bench had 20. This Pacers team surprised me. I mean, I think they're surprising everybody. I thought after a few games they'd cool off. I mean, they're 7-6. They have a solid record. Do we expect this to keep up for much longer, or is this going to start to be the end of it?
I think it depends on if they move anybody. Because if they don't move anybody, this team's good enough to kind of flirt around 500. You know, maybe a couple games above it, like a 43 and 39 type ball club. Like they could literally just kind of flirt with 500 all year if this is the squad they got. I don't expect it to be. But for right now, like you said, surprising, and they seem to be fun to watch.
Well, even if they give up Miles Turner, I think if they get someone who's not like if they get like an asset back and not just a bunch of picks, I could still see them being around 500. It's just a matter of what do you get back for Miles Turner and potentially even like Buddy Hield.
Yeah, that is something to watch because I don't think a team's gonna be willing to give up a lot, but they have to give up a decent amount of salary, so you got to think they're getting quality NBA players back.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens in Indiana. I might have to go check out a couple games for myself. The Minnesota Timberwolves came out on top in Orlando, 126 to 108 over the Magic. Big night for Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards had 35, 8, and 6, 12 of 20 from the field, 2 steals, 1 block. Karl-Anthony Towns, 35 and 5, 10 of 15 from the field. Everybody else played okay for them. D'Lo had 11, Rudy Gobert had 16 and 8, and Jaden McDaniels had 10. We all don't like the vibes in Minnesota. I don't know, because I feel like every time we call them out after they lose 1 or 2 and it looks really bad, one of their guys, and maybe potentially even 2 like we saw last night, has a good game. I still can't be confident in them to even make the playoffs, make the play-in even,
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel up to this point, but
their next 7 games are going to be the ones to watch. They go against teams like the 76ers, the Heat, the fun, intriguing Pacers, the Warriors, the Wizards, the Grizzlies. Like they have some really sneaky, really good, tough teams in there. They beat up they beat up on a Cavs team that didn't have, D Mitch, had like 4 players on the injury report. Then they beat up on the Magic, who also didn't have their best player. So I mean, it's just they're beating up on who they're supposed to beat up right now. But
which I do think is important, because a team where the vibes are really bad, you could easily lose these games and be way worse than where you're at right now.
100%, 100%. But those are just the games kind of to watch as we move forward. Like if they go out there and they thump the 76ers and kind of dominate like they have been, I think that's one game that could really be like, oh, okay. Like maybe
a positive slide.
Yeah.
But not much to hit on here for the Magic. Bol Bol might be the hidden gem of the NBA. He had 26 and 12. He shot
Him and
12 of
Jalen
20.
Suggs. Him
Yeah,
and Jalen
Jalen
Suggs play pretty
Suggs,
well.
23, 6 and 6. We're just still a couple years away from this Magic team really making any kind of noise. I do think they're a fun watch. If you watched these daily shows now for the last couple weeks, I do like watching them, but you just don't know what you're going to get any given night. I mean, Jesus, Bol with a double like that, still, it's very impressive. The next game, we're going to hit on this coming up really soon this week, so be sure to stay tuned in. The Thunder come out on top 121 to 120 over the Washington Wizards. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does it yet again, as he called himself, Hemi Carter, hitting the game winner in Washington. 42, 6 and 7, 14 to 22 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, hit the game winner. The step back with about a second and a half left, maybe something like that. But either way, puts this team on his back and gets the job done yet again, leads this team. Nobody else. Lou Dort had 16. Josh Giddey had 11. Jalen Williams had 10 off the bench. So, I mean, story Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm going to toss this to you about Shai, but without giving it all away about this video we have coming up. But, I mean, what isn't there to say about this guy?
He just wills them. Like, anytime they need a bucket, anytime they need anything, they just give the ball to Shai. And Shai just seems to have this constant presence around him that is just so calm, and he is just so at ease every time, no matter the situation. He knows exactly what he's going to do before he even does it. And it's cerebral, it's disgusting, it's incredible. And, I'm going to hit on it in the videos. These quarters that the Thunder are able to just pull out
late in games,
third quarters, fourth quarters, where they just pull the game out of the fire and make it something. I don't know if it's a long-term, great, formula for long-term success. But my God, right now, it's like the minute you take the foot off the gas, they erase a 17, 20-point lead to 5 to 4 in like minutes.
Yeah.
It's
easy.
Unreal. Like, it's not, and they're just running, gunning, flying. It's fun to watch. They're a fun watch. If you have a league pass, 100% recommend to watch them. Their announcers are great. Their team is fun. So yeah, I mean, we could talk all day about them.
And we will, so be sure to stay tuned. For the Wizards, the stories, they're starting 5. Monty Morris had 11. Denny Avia had 12. Kyle Kuzma 18 and 10 and 9. He's playing really solid for them right now. Consistently up to this point, and I really like what I've seen out of him. Bradley Beal with 25, 6 and 6. Kristaps with 27 and 9. The bench, nobody really. Rui Hachimura did. He had 14. I think Rui's really looking pretty good for them. I'm kind of surprised they don't try to figure out a way to put him in the starting lineup, but I mean, it's working out for him. They're, giving him spot minutes, try to keep him healthy. 17 minutes there. But yeah, this Washington Wizards team, just a team of like, okay, they could beat anybody, but also lose anybody on any given night. And I just don't know what the ceiling is for them.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing more to add. I wish I want to see more from Will Barton. That's about all I can really say. Will Barton needs to step up for him.
Yeah. The Boston Celtics, best team in basketball right now, 126-101 over the Atlanta Hawks. Jason Tatum had an off night, shot 6 of 19 from the field, but was still able to contribute in other ways. He had 19, 7 and 8.
Did they even need him?
Yeah, the story. Jaylen Brown, 22 and 5. Derek White stepped up in the starting lineup, had 16, 5 and 10. He really helped this team. Sam Hauser, 15 off the bench. Luke Cornett, 15 off the bench. Peyton Pritchard, 14 off the bench. Grant Williams with 18. This is the best team in basketball right now, and I think that's safe to say. Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics, they got that. They're all bought in, and I love what I'm seeing out of them.
Yeah, dude, it's disgusting because whenever you look at this team, you're like, man, they are really, really good. And you know what's really scary about them? They have a top 5 defensive center in basketball that is just getting healthy. Yeah. He is just resting. He is recovering. And guess what? The Celtics are not going to rush him. They have no need to rush him. And they could easily, they have like assets that they can move off of and just make this team even better. I mean, they just dominated an Atlanta Hawks team that was only missing Bogdan Bogdanovic, and they were missing Malcolm Brogdon, Marcus Smart, and Robert Williams.
Yeah.
And dominated them. And Jason Tatum shot 6 of 19.
Right.
Like, it's just, and they won by 25.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like they won by 15, 10 points. They blew them out late. No, like they dominated them from the word go.
Best
It's
team
unbelievable.
1 through 15 right now. I mean,
It's
it's
disgusting what they're
yeah.
able to do. Their
Yeah.
development, it's just great.
For the Hawks, Trae Young led the way with 27. He's still not shooting good from the field. 10 of 23, 2 of 7 from the 3-point line. He shot 5 of 6 from the free throw line, though. I just don't feel like nobody's really talking about his struggles right now. And
38% from the field.
Yeah, I
30%
mean,
from three.
it's not good. And I just feel like there's nobody talking about it. DeJounte Murray had 19, 3 and 5. John Collins with 12. He's kind of had a quiet year up to this point too. Clint Capella only with 7 and 8. He's been quiet up until he had a couple games. Their bench only person that scored above 6 was Johnson. He had 7. So I guess this is what I kind of expect out of this Hawks team is, one night they look phenomenal. They're beating the Bucks twice early in the season, and the next night they're struggling, especially with Trae Young struggling. I don't know what else there really is to say about it unless Trae Young needs to step up and play better.
I'm the Hawk whisperer, and you guys were really surprised when I was down on them this year. I just don't know. There was something off about their vibe, and that's a big word around here. We say about the vibe of the Celtics, the vibe of the T-Wolves. The vibe of this Hawk team is just like you said, super inconsistent. One night they might be the best team in the East. The other night, it's like, are you even a playoff team?
Something I've noticed, I feel like they buy into DeJounte more than they do Trae. And that's just watching, I'm not like watching, like trying to break down everything, but like just from what I've seen, they seem to like respond better.
DeJounte isn't scared to scrap it up on the defensive side of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And he's willing to not only like Trae gets others involved, but DeJounte does it in a completely different way that is just so much more engaging. Mm-hmm. Like Trae Young will kind of dribble the air out of the ball or try to get to his spots. Whereas DeJounte, he's like looking for his guys and then he takes his opportunities as they present himself. Yeah. So I think it's interesting.
The vibes have the potential to really go downhill from here. But
it could be interesting if John Collins just gets fed up about something and voices something during a team meeting. Best of luck to the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, maybe we're overreacting right now, but I do think that potential is there. But we'll move on. The Raptors came out on top 112-104 against the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat, a weird night. Jimmy Butler only shot 8 shots. Kyle Lowry only shot 9. There was no Bam last night. Nikola Jovic stepped in. He had 13. Max Strus had 20. Caleb Martin had 14. Gabe Vincent was 16. Just weird. I guess your two best players last night, at least, only shooting a combined like 17 shots. I don't like that, and I don't know what the deal is.
Their depth got exposed. The minute this team loses one or two pieces, you're like, I mean, a guy named Jamal Cain, and no disrespect to him, he's made it to the league. I'm proud of him.
Right.
But he's logging minutes for the Heat. I mean, you got Duncan Robinson, who got that huge contract and has forgotten how to play basketball. It's just, it's really bad out there in Miami.
Mm-hmm. The Raptors, though, I feel, was it you the other day that said OG Anunoby's not really getting credit or something along that line?
Fred did.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Fred was right. OG had 32, 10, and 3 and 1 block, 13 of 18 from the field, only 1 of 3 from the 3-point line. So, I mean, OG not known for his, he's a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, but really stepping up. 32 and 10 led the way. Scotty Barnes chipped in with 19, 6 and 6. Thad Young had 12. Fred VanVleet with 23. Chris Boucher with 15 and 10. I like what I've seen out of the Raptors. Pascal being out, they need somebody to step up offensively. And Scotty Barnes has disappointed me a little bit up to this point. I had that hot take before the season started about Scotty Barnes making an All-NBA team. Not going to happen. But OG Anunoby stepping up. I don't know how consistent it is. I think I would be way more confident if they had a guy that I had confidence in to be that second guy offensively. And I just don't know if it's there yet. But I do think if OG or Scotty could play, consistent like this, the sky's the limit for the Raptors.
I wish that they would buy into Scotty Barnes and OG being their forwards and get rid of Pascal, get another guard in there, maybe a bigger guard. DeJounte Murray would have made a lot of sense, but that's neither here nor there. And, I wish that this is kind of the like Scotty Barnes and OG, the 3-4 combo and not trying to just squeeze in Pascal. I think this team has a much higher ceiling with that type of going more of a guard, putting more of a defensive-minded guard next to Fred, who can also score, would be kind of the way I would go. But, whatever.
Yeah, they're always going to be a solid Eastern Conference team, though, nonetheless. The Milwaukee Bucks beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 113-98. Jared Allen still did not play for the Cavs, so their defense was not what you would expect, and I think you can tell from this Bucks box score. Evan Mobley had 20 and 7 with 2 blocks. Donovan Mitchell had 23. Darius Garland had 23. That's pretty much it for the Cavs. They've lost 5 in a row. I'm not panicking just yet, but their coach, JB Bickerstaff, called them out after the game last night. And I do like that. I think it's good, humble a young team that started off really hot, make them realize, hey, you lost 5 in a row. We can lose to anybody. So
yeah,
I'm not worried just yet. Are you worried at all?
No. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. For the Bucks, Giannis had 16 and 12 with 8 assists. Bobby Portis 10 and 11. Brook Lopez 29 points. He was able to just pick them apart. He had 7 and 9 from 3. I mean, Brook Lopez is an elite floor spacer. Who would have known? Javon Carter with 11. Jordan Nwora off the bench with 21. The Bucks, they're making the case that they're still the best team in the NBA, but Giannis is the best player in the world right now. So, I mean, you could take it either way, and I wouldn't be upset. But this Bucks team is dominant.
The Celtics-Bucks crash course to the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be unbelievable. It's almost like the Bills and the Chiefs last year. Everybody was like, "This is the Super Bowl."
Yeah,
right. Like that's the type of level of basketball that those two teams could be playing as they approach each other in the Eastern Conference Finals. And it's going to be so much fun to sit back and watch it.
The Bulls are now 6 and 9 after a loss last night to the Pelicans, 110-124. DeMar DeRozan, 28, 4 and 7. He's doing his thing. Nikola Vucevic, 14 and 10. Zach LaVine with 25. Alex Caruso had 13. All the other guys were kind of quiet. Patrick Williams, only 5 points and 4 rebounds. Disappointing me because I was really high on him. I really thought he had the capability of being a really solid defender, like a 3-and-D kind of guy. Yeah. He's disappointing up to this point, and the vibes are weird in Chicago.
Vibes, baby, vibes.
I feel like it's like the Heat almost. It's like the same thing this year. Yeah. You didn't get any better. I mean, you brought in Goran Dragic to help your bench, and you brought in Andre Drummond, but still, it's not working up to this point.
Yeah, I was really high on the Bulls coming into the year. I thought that they would, everybody thought they were a sleeper team last year. I thought they were a sleeper team this year. Like nobody was really talking.
I was low on them. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you and Fred very, very low on them. I tried telling you guys like, no, this team's going to be it, but they're not. I don't really know what's wrong with them. Fred keeps hitting the drum that, they need Lonzo, and they do, but it's not looking like he's going to come back anytime soon. So yeah, they're either going to have to make a move. I know a point guard that's out there on the trade block apparently named Russell Westbrook, who would love to come share the ball, share the sugar down there. But I don't know, man. It is a weird team, weird bunch, weird vibe.
Yeah. For the Pelicans, CJ McCollum continues to he had another good game after struggling there for a bit. He had 23, 4 and 8. Brandon Ingram with 16. Trey Murphy the third with 19 and 10, and Valanciunas with 22 and 7. Troy, I know you had issues with this Pelicans team, ideally as CJ McCollum as the starting point guard. What have you seen up to this point with him that, because I like the fit so far. I think he's playing really well as that the lead guy for them.
He's so inconsistent right now, though, man. Like he'll have nights where he'll look like CJ McCollum of old. Like I remember as a kid, as a junior and a senior in high school, I would watch CJ McCollum highlights and just workout routines because like he was just that type of player. Like he was so surgical in his approach. And now it's like he takes some nights off where it's just he's just not as aggressive some nights.
He has had like a finger injury or something, so I'm willing to give him some slack there. But
Yeah, he's getting a little older too. So I mean, yeah, I get it. He's got some young guns he's trying, to instill confidence in, and he's a great leader, but I don't know how to feel about the Pelicans, man. I don't know how to feel. Some moments I'm like, dude, this team is so good. And in other moments I'm like,
their defense isn't what I thought it would be.
I don't like the fact that they have Zion and Jonas Valanciunas on the floor together. Like, and it's just, there's just weird components to this team. It's not like Brandon
We might
Ingram either
break
can.
down the Pelicans soon because I really think there's a lot you could get into there and like really break
Yeah,
it down and
I
see what
mean,
they could do better.
look at Brandon Ingram's efficiency last night, regardless of the win. Like, he's not a dead eye shooter. So,
Mhm.
like, even him playing off the ball, that's not best fit for BI. So it's just really, it's an interesting bunch. And like you said, we may get into them a little bit later.
The Houston Rockets beat the Luka-less Dallas Mavericks last night. I don't know if this was a good win for the Rockets or a bad loss for the Mavericks. I say that because the Rockets had 19 team blocks. Unreal.
I watched a little bit of the game and I did not even hear that.
Jabari Smith Jr. had 2. Alperen Sengun had 5. Kevin Porter Jr. had 3. Jalen Green
Sengun
had 1.
had 5.
Mm-hmm. Garuba off the bench had 3. Kenyon Martin Jr. had 2. Daishen Nix had 2. Tari Eason had 1. I mean, it was phenomenal defense from the Rockets. So I think it was more or less a really good win. And if you watch this game, the Mavericks could not hit the broadside of a barn.
No,
they shot horribly, could not hit a shot. There's not a lot I really am willing to break into. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. had 28, Christian Wood had 26. Not the best shooting from either one of them. This is my issue with the Mavericks. You know, without Luka, you're losing to a team you should still easily beat. But I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. 19 team blocks is just absurd.
It might be the coming out party for Usman Garabua or Usman Garabo or Garaba, whatever.
Garuba.
Yeah, from the Rockets, man. He played incredible. I love Sinjin. I like what the Rockets have as a core, but I still think they're obviously far away.
Yeah, they're
but I mean, Kevin
away.
Porter Jr. rebounding the ball efficiently. He shot the ball pretty well. Didn't force a ton of shots. Whenever him and Jalen Green aren't trying to play superhero and superhero ball where they're shooting step back 3 after step back 3, they're a decent team to watch. But yeah, I don't like Jabari Smith Jr. if I'm just going to be blunt with you.
Mm-hmm.
But from there, be positive. They got to win. Big win for the Rockets. I'm sorry for being negative Nancy today,
The New York Knicks came out on top 106-103. The Nuggets did not have Jokic playing last night, or Aaron Gordon. So you'd think they'd still potentially be able to get a win. But then again, when you have DeAndre Jordan starting for you at this point of his career,
worst player in basketball.
I'm surprised you only lost by 3. Jamal Murray had 21, 9, and 6. And Bones Highland had 21, 7, and 2. There's not much, in my opinion, to hit on with this Denver Nuggets team. No Jokic, no Gordon, whatever. You lose to a team that not bad. Julius Randle especially had 34 and 11, 34, 11, and 4 with 4 steals. Jalen Brunson 21, 5, and 7. Derrick Rose with 13 off the bench. RJ Barrett struggling, 4 of 18 from the field, had 11 points. Tibbs is trying to go in a different direction with this Knicks team. He's been playing Obi Toppin and Julius Randle a lot more together, and I think that benefits Randle in the long run. But I'm still not sold on this Knicks team.
Yeah, somebody go save Quentin Grimes for me. I mean, for the love of God, like, dude should be playing in an NBA basketball game. Like, get out of town. Yeah. That just kills me. Like, how can you not find minutes for Quentin Grimes?
Yeah.
That blows my mind. Like, you're telling me
even they asked him
out?
They asked Tibbs about it last night. They're like, is he gonna go to the G League? And he was just like, no, I like him where he's at. You like him not playing? Okay, whatever, I guess.
Dude. I mean, RJ Barrett shooting 4 of 18 and we can't get Quentin Grimes 5 minutes. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah. Last game of the night, the Warriors lost 119-130 to the Phoenix Suns. This was a great game for the Phoenix Suns. Mikal Bridges had 23, 9, and 9. DeAndre Ayton 14 and 7. Torrey Craig 13 and 10. Devin Booker with 27 and 9. 3 blocks, and Cam Payne stepped up big time, 29 and 7 for him. The story I want to get into here, Troy, is Steph Curry put up 50. He had 15 and 9 and 6, shot 7-11 from 3, and the Warriors still lost by 11. This is how bad this defense is. Klay Thompson continues to try to pull himself back when he's just not there. 6 of 17 from the field. Andrew Wiggins 14. I mean, we hit on it with the weekly pod that just came out, so go check that out if you haven't. But this Warriors team, their defense is horrible.
Yeah, yeah, and their offense is incredible, and that's the thing that really, and it's incredible. Even though Jordan Poole didn't make a field goal,
Mm,
like Klay Thompson is struggling, and they still put up 119 points. Now, granted, Steph Curry has a lot to do with that,
yeah.
but I mean, still, like they're still playing good basketball offensively. But as we've said, they have the worst defensive rating in their franchise history, and it is only going to get worse. Like it is awful. I was watching that game, and every moment they had a momentum for any moment. It was like the next thing you know, you blink and the other team scored 5 times.
Yeah.
And it's like boom, 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 boom. Like there's like no type of like restrictions or restraints. And they just sent James Wiseman down to the G League. There's some real issues with the Warriors, man.
Yeah,
Real
it's
issues. And
I'm
the vibes. Like, did you see that video of Steph over there, man? He was staring like he was like, man, what do I have to
Yeah.
do? Like, I just had a 50 ball shot, incredible. Played probably his best game of the year, and he's having an unbelievable season. And they're 6-9, and they can't win on the road.
let's say I'm worried, but I'm not ready to full out panic just yet. But give me 10, 15 more games, and if it's still like this, then we'll panic. We'll really start to panic. But that's all the games from last night. Only 3 games on tonight. And if you're on the East Coast like us, kind of a bad night to watch NBA basketball. All
Yeah.
3 games start at 10 o'clock or later. Brooklyn Nets travel to the Trailblazers, take on Portland, or in Portland to take on the Trailblazers at 10 o'clock. I'm going to go with the Trailblazers here. I really like their basketball right now, and Jeremy Grant's really been balling out.
I agree. Trailblazers.
10 o'clock, the Spurs take on the Kings. Give me the Kings. I mean, we're both big on the Kings this year. 7-6 now. Let's keep momentum rolling, baby. Have you seen that they light a beam now after
Yes.
every dude?
Oh, have I
Let,
seen it?
let's hit that
Seen it.
beam tonight, baby. Let's hit that beam.
Dude,
I love it.
153 points last game. My God, this team, don't even get me started. Kings.
Yeah. 10:30, the Pistons travel to LA to take on the Clippers. This is interesting because you never know what you're going to get out of this Clippers team. But I will take the Clippers at home. I just think we get the job done.
Kawhi is supposed to be back. Rumors are swirling where he could be playing tonight. Pistons win.
I like that. But yeah, that's all the games. Only 3 games on tonight. Let us know what you guys see. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell some friends. Let's get this thing rolling. We will see you all tomorrow.